Good evening, everybody. I'm so glad and happy that you are here, right, with me in another episode. So here is your friend, me, Yo soy, right? Yo soy Angie, or just soy my name, Niurka, right? I'm here. I'm your companion for this life, right? And what I mean by being your companion for this life is that if we have this life together, it doesn't matter if I know you or not, we are one. So we are connected. We are interconnected and we are interdependent of each other. So this is why I do videos, because I feel and I know that we are one, and that whatever experience I have will also help you move forward in your life, and actually also rewind a little bit your life, right? So that you can understand yourself even more. So in this episode, I'm gonna be talking about an experience I had this week that was very interesting, right? It was triggered by a movie, the one called the one called what is it called? Me Before You. Oh my goodness, that movie hit me so hard, and this was the second time watching it. But in this time, I guess I was open and receptive. So, yeah. So, what I'm going to be talking about today is actually a trauma that we all have is a childhood trauma, they say, right? I say it's a life trauma, and it's actually many lives trauma and even a spirit trauma. And I'm going to tell you why I think the way I think, why I feel the way I feel, because it's not just thinking, it's feeling and experiencing and then knowing, right? So then, yeah. So even though, you might say, when you hear what I have to say, you might say, oh no, I don't have that because I don't care. That was me, baby. And I guess that was the attitude that didn't allow me to discover this at a very early time in my life, because I've been cleansing my life, honestly, since like really deep, since about what, 2003. Yeah, 2003. And I knew this, but I never experienced it the way that because I used to think, this was my belief, I don't care about nobody leaving me or abandoning me. Yes, abandonment, right? I'm going to be talking about abandonment and how we have it in our soul, spirit, and and is in our body. It's actually imprinted in our DNA, and I will tell you why, and also tell you, as usual, do your research. Go and find valid research, right? Scientific research, and you will see that what I'm telling you is true. There is trauma that we have of abandonment, right? Or rejection also, because to me, it's kind of like the same. When they reject you, it's like, okay, you're not, I'm not feeling you, you're not part of me. So it's kind of like a void, like I'm avoiding you. So it's gonna create an emptiness in you, which is also coming from abandonment, right? So we have in us, or I had, right, in me, I had I mean, I was an abandoned child, meaning my father was never in my life. He never acknowledged me. He was never around. Although I was around my family that loved me so much, which is okay, right? So it never hit me because I never lacked love. Like my great parents, my aunts, everybody in my family loved me, and I do know it. But one thing is knowing in another in as an adult, and another thing is that child in you, that inner child, and that moment in time when it happened. Because as you know, time is continuous. So even though you think you're not living in the past, you are, because we keep recreating the same thing over and over again. So, or we either try not to create it and create something different based on what happened. So in reality, we still coming from that platform. So with that said, right, I used to always say, I used to always go to seminars and try to heal myself, right? And I was like, oh yeah, abandonment. So what? Yeah, my father, I was never with my father. He never wanted me. He thought, I don't know what he thought. And I never really, cared, supposedly, right? But then I discovered, right, this week through the movie, because I started when I saw what happened in the movie, like the end, when I saw that she gave everything to him. And you need to go back and watch that movie. And when you are in a healing process, I have always been open to healing. And I understand that synchronicity, right? That is that part where you find everything that you think or that you are in tune with, you attract it somehow, or you even go to it. So it's either it comes to you or you just go to that thing, right? And you find yourself with that what you want. So then I'm really open to learning and to healing, and I heal through many through many things, right? Through many channels, through many process. So then I was in that I was watching this movie, and then I saw that I felt so in tune with her pain, when she felt like abandoned. She felt that he didn't love her because he didn't make the decision that she wanted him to make. And go see the movie because I don't want to ruin it for you if you haven't. So most of us, we feel that when somebody leaves us means that that person doesn't love us. But in reality, is that that person is actually making a decision that is the best for that person. And it's actually in that person's mind and in that person's perception, interpretation, you know, that person is doing the best for all. So even if that person is right or wrong, which it doesn't really exist, okay, in that person's mind and in that person's world, it's the right decision. It's the right thing to do because um, because that person has a mission. That person made up, you know, their mind or its mind, and it needs to do what it got to do. It could be a mission. It could be a decision. When you make a decision, you're on a mission. So it's basically the same thing. So it hit me because I was in so much pain. I was like, what happened? Why is this hurting so much? And I was like, oh my God. No, really, I was like crying. I couldn't even breathe. Then I said, this is not a normal reaction. Let me go and meditate on this. So I started meditating on it, and it just hit me. I was like, oh my God, I went through this. I've been there. And guess what? And I said, but why it hurts me so much? When I've done it, and I've done it, and I did it in this life. And that's another story I'm gonna actually tell you when I made the decision to leave with God. And what happened to me in the fire was already predestined, and it was also a choice that I made. You understand? So whether people believe it or not, I made that choice. But I'm gonna tell you that story later if you wanna know. So then again, when I find myself in this pain, that I realize I have gone through it many, many times throughout my life. I've had people that left me and that I thought it was a betrayal because you take it as a betrayal. But in reality, that person is just making the best decision for themselves at that time, at that point in their life, that I have no right to interfere because it's free will, and people need to do what they think is best, even if what they think is best is not the best. That's their story. That's their life. They're going to eventually figure it out. So then when people leave you, when people make decisions to leave you, and that's where I come from, like people are gonna say, oh no, nope, I don't care about abandonment. Listen, when people leave you, it hurts. But it hurts not only because they're abandoning you, not only because they're leaving you, right? It hurts because you also feel betrayed. You feel like you have given it all and you are expecting that person to be in your life forever. But just remember that there's people that are in your life just for a little bit of time. Just even like my father, he was just in my mom's life to make me happen. Never again we knew anything about him. You understand? So yes, I didn't. I as an adult understood that, but not the baby in the womb, not the fetus that after 3 months, scientifically proven, it carries all the memory, right, of the mom. So in my genes, I also have that moment of pain of my mother that my mother went through that experience, right? So that's also is in my DNA, is in my genes because it's there, it's in my memory. So it's in my cells because the cells have memories as well. So all that pain, that movie brought it out. And I was able to actually relate. And I was like, oh my God, but that doesn't mean he didn't love you. I wanted to tell her and convince her that it didn't mean that that person didn't love him, right? That love her. It actually just that that person had to make that decision because it was the best decision that that person could have made for himself. So then, and then I realized, oh my God, I went back. I went even to anybody that I thought had left me and I felt like betrayed or abandoned. I went back to that memory and I cleansed it. And I in a subconscious level, because you cannot convince yourself from here. You cannot convince your past self from the present. You understand? You need a moment, like a spark moment, like an aha moment, like I had, in order for you to actually disintegrate all these beliefs, all these thoughts, all these experiences, because I experienced that. And through my lens, nobody could have told me back then that that was not a betrayal or that that wasn't an abandonment. Well, that person left me. If that person left me, it abandoned me, right? That person abandoned me and is not here in my life. So then from there, from that moment, I realized that not only was I suffering from abandonment from my father, I was also abandoned in my childhood mind. I was also abandoned from, a lot of people abandoned me. My family, when they left me back in DR, because I'm from the Dominican Republic, and they actually traveled here. At that point and moment in my life, I remember I used to cry a lot, and I felt lonely. I felt like they left me behind. I couldn't understand. And all that pain is actually imprinted in my heart, in my cells, remember that, and in my memory. So I had to heal in that time. When I did that meditation this week, I had to heal all that pain. So then I'm going to go even deeper. I don't know how many of you know about how everything was created and what is the Big Bang. But for you that do know, okay, the way that we were created and how God first had to leave us, right? How we have so I'm not gonna go that deep. I'm just gonna tell you that when we came as a spirit into our body, we also left something behind. When we leaving something behind, we're also going through that process of abandoning others or even feel abandoned. Because I don't know if you have heard this saying that says it's not the same as calling the devil than seeing him right there and then. Why? Because it's not the same of you making a decision and then just acting upon that decision. So if you made a decision of leaving somebody, you're not only causing a trauma to that person, you're causing it also to yourself, because the part of that inner child, that inner you, that subconscious you of letting go is also painful. So that's why the victim and the victimizer are really one, because you are connected. That's why it's so painful. It's very painful to leave somebody. And it doesn't mean that that person doesn't love you. It just means that that person needs to go on with their life and have another mission to accomplish. And maybe you're not in that mission. So, with that said, I just want you to understand that abandonment is deeper than you think. And we have abandonment in ourselves, in our memory, in our body, in our soul, in our spirit. Because we feel many, many times that we have been abandoned by the source or source God energy, by our mother, even when she gave birth to us. When mother gives birth, the child also feels rejection and feels abandoned. Why? Because you're not anymore in the womb. I don't know if you've seen those videos that are so beautiful when babies, they just need their mom because they feel so empty, they feel like they have been rejected and abandoned because mom is pushing you out of her womb. So she's pushing you away from her womb, and the baby has that traumatic event also in the memory. So, as you know, and I'm going to leave you with this, there's a lot that we have to cleanse. Like I said, I've been cleansing myself in reality, deeper at in a conscious level that I know of, since 2003. I know it was way before that, but consciously doing it and constantly doing it nonstop, and that the more that I cleanse myself, I find more and more things, and whatever I rejected, like, oh no, I don't care about that. That didn't hurt me, or that didn't do nothing to me. So what? I don't mind. Oh, whatever. That's where the pain lies. And once you go deep inside you and find this pain, then you're gonna know. And now I learned something. I learned that when I cry in movies, it's not only because I am connected in the character, I live the character. No, it's because it triggered a memory. That's what I learned from this movie. So I suggest that you guys watch as much movie as you can, those that are trying to heal, and find yourself in those characters, and the multiple selves, because you don't only have one self, you have many selves inside of you, right? Because every time and moment that you are in is a new you. That's why you think you didn't care, but what happened was that experience changed you. Okay, it changed you to a totally different person, and you think that you didn't care. Plus, your self-defense mechanism tries to forget but doesn't forgive. And that actually is what causes all the sickness that develops in our future and sometimes our present. Because believe it or not, when all this pain that we carry in us is what's actually stopping us from from having success in life, right? From succeeding in life. So that's what I wanted to touch base with you. So just keep in mind that there's people that come to stay in your life. There's people that are just happening to pass by, and there's people that are here just to teach you something, and just for a moment, and you will never know anything about it. Okay, so with that said, I'm leaving you right now, and I hope this is helpful. I hope it triggers something in you, and I hope now that you understand how abandonment really, really hurts us and actually can cause a future sickness. And with that said, I am here. If you have any questions, if you relate to this, if you would like me to also speak about other experiences, I have tons of experiences that I wish I can also tell you. But I'm gonna start opening up to you, because I feel that the more that I tell you, the more that I trigger you, and the more that you understand your multiple selves, because we are one. And we were made out of the same blueprint. We're unique, but we carry a blueprint, okay? And in that blueprint, we look a lot alike. So, with much love Hugs and kisses to all of you. Thank you for watching, and share if you like.